Welcome to Our Girl Relationships. We talk about the problems people face in their day-to-day lives. Let's start with the video. Honestly, I'm quite literally still shaking as I type this, and yet for some reason, people are blaming me for the situation. So here I am, asking you guys to be the judge of this situation. This is how it went down. Nate and I met when we were in college. We shared a film class together and hit it off from there. Nate and my relationship bloomed beautifully together. We had a lot in common aside from our majors. Our personalities were common, our likes and dislikes, and everything in between. I really thought I had met the one for myself, like every naive college student out there. And oh boy, did I get proven wrong here. It all started going downhill really bad after our fourth semester of college. Needless to say, college did get stressful for everyone after the second year. Everyone really got to studying in full force after spending the past 2 years doing absolutely nothing. Nate and I, too, jumped on the bandwagon of studying, and as a result, our distance increased. And needless to say, any normal, loving couple would wait through the distance and stress-filled year and rekindle the relationship once they had the time to do so. But Nate, of course, he couldn't keep his hands to himself. That is when he cheated on me for the first time, and guess what, guys? This was going to be one of the many times Nate, the guy who claimed to love, claimed to be my soulmate, cheated on me, and like the blind fool that I was, I sat there believing that this man truly loved me. Well, he didn't, and I found out all about it through a conversation between my friends and I, where they drunkenly confessed about seeing Nate kiss and make out with multiple women. Nate wasn't there when they told me all about it, but it didn't take long for him to realize that I had found out. So the love bombing began. He started to show me a side of him that I only remember seeing when we first began dating. Nate tried and tried and tried for months and for months. It wasn't just Nate. Nate's parents, friends, and everyone that Nate possibly could drag into this mess of a situation got dragged in, and they all tried to convince me to get back with him. I don't know what it was. All of Nate's pathetic attempts failed for me, and honestly, after what happened, I'm glad, because good riddance, y'all. So, onto the actual situation. After reading much of this background, I'm sure you guys must have understood my growing resentment towards Nate. It was this month that I finally realized that Nate and I are just not meant to be. Call me evil, call me great, call me slow for it. It's just the fact that I couldn't get myself to accept the truth, you know? And oh boy, when I did, I didn't expect it to go so horribly. I mean, Nate's reaction to me telling him that I wanted to break up with him should have given it all away to me. But I thought it was normal. I was in the mindset that his reaction was normal just because we had dated each other for so long. But well, I was proven wrong because right after a week of us breaking up, and very shockingly, right as I was about to grab a coffee at our local cafe, I was caught completely off guard by the setup that Nate pulled on me. The coffee that I grabbed had a note on it which said, "Will you marry me?" And just as I turned around, I saw Nate kneeling down with a ring in his hand, asking me if I'll marry him. My mind went completely blank and numb for a second. I was processing this moment all the while the workers at the cafe and Nate's mom were recording what they thought was a glorious moment. The moment was definitely glorious, but not in the context that Nate and everyone around us expected. I definitely did give them all a priceless reaction, one that would stick with them possibly forever. I told Nate no on the spot. I set down the coffee on the counter and explained to Nate, along with everyone else in public, why I was doing what I was doing. I told Nate that our relationship wasn't going to be fixed by this proposal, and we absolutely cannot come back from everything that he did to bitter our relationship. Nate's face turned red and he got up. His body language immediately screamed aggression, while everyone else around us looked like they were busy processing the moment. It felt like at this moment, it was just me, Nate, and his mom. I felt threatened, and just as I could say anything, Nate's mom dragged my hand to get me to accept Nate's proposal. As a way to defend myself, I pushed her hand away from me immediately. I guess this pushed Nate to the edge, and he grabbed my arm, asking me stuff like, "How dare I touch his mom?" Tears began rolling down my eyes, and in that shaken state of mind, I pulled out my phone and called up the cops to file for harassment charges. The cops showed up soon after and inquired around, checked some of the footage, and arrested both Nate and his mom, who kept yelling at me and telling me that I'll regret what I did. Saying that I'm shaken up by this situation would be an understatement. I'm horrified by everything that has happened, but still, there are some of our mutual friends and the workers at the cafe that blame me for the turn that this situation took. Firstly, I'd like to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for being so kind and helpful in your comments. Not a lot has happened since I posted my original post, but I've been going in and out of the lawyer's office along with my parents. It's definitely been hectic. I had to speed up a lot of the things I've been working on, such as moving out of Nate and my shared apartment. I've decided to move in with my parents for the time being because I really cannot risk being around Nate after all that he did, and did not feel an inch of empathy. It's definitely been a difficult shift, and I'm aware of the fact that this is not the end of it. In fact, I'd even say that this is the beginning of days and days of hard work to get myself away from this trouble I've gotten myself into. For now, I can only hope that I can give you guys positive updates, one after the other, just like this one. Thank you all once again. Hi guys, I know it's been a month since I posted my last update, but honestly, there's so much that happened. I think it'll definitely take some time to process things and then post an update. But here I am, guys. In this update, I'll talk about what happened after I pressed charges on Nate and his mom. Well, I cannot go on the legalities of this situation because my lawyer has strictly warned me against it. Mostly because the reason that Nate and his mom are going absolutely crazy over trying to find something to drag me in court over, and there are extremely high chances that they may check my social media. So I wouldn't be going in too deep, but to keep it all sweet and short, this situation is going to the court because it's not only Nate and his mom, but after reading all of you guys' comments, I have realized that it is also the cafe and their shameful comments towards me that need to be considered. So I've also discussed with the lawyers if there's a possibility that I can do something about it. The lawyers informed me that it would indeed be better if I sue them for their comments and behavior because otherwise I could risk losing them to Nate and his mom. It's truly been a hell of a ride lately. I probably more friends than I ever had, but yet I'm the happiest I've ever been. I guess after all, this is truly how the recovery phase that everyone seems to be talking about feels. At this point, I'm simply just waiting for things to fall back into place, without the additional tension of Nate, of course. Phew, the fact that I'm updating this post after a whopping 8 months must tell you guys how much I've genuinely been through. These past months have been so bittersweet. Bitter in the sense that I lost what I thought were my people, and sweet in the sense I lost the people who weren't actually my people. Does that make sense? I hope so. But regardless, enough of my sentimental stuff. I'm just here and happy to say that my constant struggle is over, and I'm finally ready to flip the page over to something beautiful in my life. I have finally finished moving out of my parents' place, cutting the horrible people in my life, and most importantly, getting a restraining order against both Nate and his mom. These days, I'm feeling like I'm floating because of how relaxed and free I feel for getting myself out of this situation. Lately, all I have been doing is resting at my new house that I was able to buy mostly from the money I received in the form of settlement from the cafe, and because you guys ask, it was not a small business. I've also been enjoying a lot of coffee, not from the same coffee chain that turned my life upside down, of course. I just hope, just as I was able to turn my life upside down with the support of amazing people like my parents, my close friends, and you guys, people going through something similar as me can get themselves out too. Thanks, everyone. NTA, OP, but WTF? You probably know this, but you not only need a new boyfriend, but also a new set of friends, because those who think the crazy mother was right in this situation are not in the right headspace. NTA, but kudos to you, OP, for pressing charges on a creep like Nate and his crazy mom. Nate definitely seems weird, and after what his mom did, I can definitely see where he got it from. Glad you avoided the bombshell before it was too late. I am 27, male, and work as a paramedic. I recently moved back to my parents to assist my mother with my father's care. I have a brother, Jack, 28, and Tim, 22, male, who lives at home with sister-in-law. Jack has an extremely toxic relationship with the girl I'll call Abby, 25. He wanted to break up with her and she stopped taking the pill and fell pregnant. They have constantly been together and breaking up since their son Tyler, 3 years old. My brother works self-employed. They are currently split up. Seems to be permanent. They split custody 60-40. Abby refuses to talk to me since I told her I didn't want anything to do with her. My parents dislike her but tolerate her for Tyler's sake, but I do not need to have a family relationship with her. Abby has started now asking my father a lot more to babysit Tyler because my other sister-in-law has told her she cannot babysit because her plate is full with their 3-month-old. My father cannot say no, so always says yes, and every time he does, it ends up being me babysitting him because my dad physically cannot care for himself. Pretty much can't do nothing for himself. She only ever asks him to babysit when she knows I am off work. On my off days, I often do self-care stuff like going to the gym, shopping, or meeting my partner for lunch. Insert other activities like meeting friends, etc. However, since Tyler has been there more frequently, I do not feel comfortable leaving him alone with my father, so all of these things have dropped. Being a paramedic and part-time caring for my dad, self-care, is extremely important, and it's a bit much caring for both my dad and a 3-year-old child that is not mine. Anyways, I had enough and messaged Abby that she needs to stop asking my father to babysit because it falls on me to look after him because Dad is in no condition to do so. I told her she needs to look at finding a babysitter or ask my brother or mother to take time off because I won't be caring for him anymore, and I will contact child services that she's unfit and the child is placed in inadequate supervision. I told her if she needs someone to babysit, she needs to hire a babysitter. Anyways, she told both my mother and my brother about this, and they both blew up on me. My mother pretty much said it takes a village to raise a child, and I am equally responsible to help out. My brother is calling me an a-hole and saying his son will suffer. I told my mother that she can take time off work to babysit him, and if it's an issue, and I did not agree to babysit my nephew, and he is not my responsibility, I won't be babysitting him in the future. If it was once in a while, I wouldn't mind. But lately, it's been every other day for 6 hours plus. And Dad won't stop saying yes. She seems to ask him pretty much every time she knows I'm home not working. She won't ask him if he's alone. I told all three that if she continues to do this, I will contact family services and she needs to get a babysitter or ask my mother or brother to take time off work. AITA? I have spoken to both my brother and mother about this previously. Both said they talked to her but didn't. This message came as last time she dropped Tyler at the front door and left in her vehicle before I could answer the door. This message came as the last time she dropped Tyler at the front door and left in her vehicle before I could answer the front door. I have also spoken to my father, but due to dementia, never remembers the conversation and has always been a yes man. Outcome. Thank you everyone for your comments and the minor YTA that made me realize there were things I could have done better. I had a lengthy conversation with my mother. She is still insistent that Tyler is my family and I should look after him because I'm home all day, so they should work, whilst ignoring the fact I dropped my work schedule from 48 to 60 hours a week to 24 hours a week so I can assist with Dad, and I'm placing my life on hold to help her with Dad's care, which is unconditional. And Tyler is not a responsibility I wish to have on top of this. Due to this, I have spoken to my parents-in-law. Our rental was put on the market and we decided to move back in with our parents to save faster for a deposit and so I can assist with Dad's care. They are happy for me to move into their house and my partner is excited about this as she has missed living with me. I've decided this is the best thing to do given my mother refusing to listen and family comes first crap and also gives me a positive place to wind down that isn't work or a caring environment which I don't switch off from. I've set boundaries that I will still support my father but will not be living there, and that if Tyler is there, I will leave him with my dad and leave. Due to this, my mom did message Abby and told her that she cannot ask Dad to babysit anymore because of me. Opposed to the fact Dad physically cannot babysit a child, let alone care for himself. She is upset at me and Abby has said I have made things extremely difficult on them when I could babysit because I'm home, so she can work because she's struggling. She constantly goes out for drinks and dines with friends for brunch and always spends money and pays close to no rent. I told her my only responsibility is my dad being comfortable and I won't be responsible for Tyler and she can get a babysitter or make my brother look after him. My brother is refusing to talk to me and is upset. I had a minor chat to him and pretty much said I'm making career sacrifices to care for our dad's needs so he can make sacrifices to raise his child. He hung up and I haven't spoken to him since. My younger brother and sister-in-law are supportive and they are on my side. I've told my sister-in-law that I would still be comfortable looking after their baby so she can clean, shower, etc. if I'm at the house. This sister-in-law does a lot to help my dad, and I have a very good relationship with her. Abby does nothing, and it's a very shaky relationship due to things she has done prior to this incident. I'll be moving into my PIL in the next couple of days, which is the best solution and is 20 minutes away from my parents. NTA. I remember a coworker telling me, "It may take a village, but you only hear of the village idiot," which is true. You can't say it takes a village when only one person is doing it. Your dad is agreeing to this and is very unfit to do so. He shouldn't even be saying yes. But she is leaving her child with someone who cannot care for him. So she can either be a responsible mom and find adequate care, or anyone else can step up. My friend asked me to be his best man, but I had to say no. He seemed genuinely hurt, but I just couldn't do it. I've always been a shy, socially awkward guy and have never been good at talking in a social situation. Which is weird as my profession is as a DJ. But my absolute worst nightmare is to stand up in front of a crowd with all eyes on me and give a speech. I have literally had nightmares where I've had to do this. When I was at university, I had to take drugs to be able to do any type of oral presentation. It got so bad that my tutors just stopped asking me to do them, which was absolutely fine with me. But when my best buddy asked me to be his best man, all those feelings of dread came back. I said I would have to take a couple of days to think about it, which I'm pretty sure hurt him. Then his fiancée started phoning me a day or so later, telling me that she doesn't get why I'm being difficult. I just made up some stupid excuse about not being able to afford the kilt hire. I'm Scottish. But she kept assuring me that it would all be paid for. Then I just told her the truth, that I'm absolutely petrified of talking in front of large crowds. She told me not to be stupid and just do it. The conversation ended and I told her no. The wedding was a few weeks ago and I never even went to the ceremony. I was invited, but I just couldn't handle it. I popped in for an hour or so to the night party, but left pretty quickly. They're now married and I've not heard from either of them since. So it looks like I've lost my best friend and I don't know if it's my fault. YTA. I understand not wanting to be the best man due to your phobia of public speaking. You could have said, mate, I'm honored you want me for a best man, but I don't think I'm the right person for the role. I have a phobia of public speaking and I don't think it'll work. I think I could handle being a groomsman if you'll have me. Instead, you just wussed out and didn't even attend your own best friend's wedding just to avoid confrontation. Anyone would be rightfully pissed if their best friend,